Jesus said, "Man cannot live on bread alone, but from every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." You're listening to Daily Truth.
I briefly want to define three terms, and I think this will be helpful for us. It's a simple theological lesson, but it's something that is daily applied. It comes up in just our daily living as we seek to pursue Christ and personal holiness. Here are the terms: gossip, slander, and flattery. Gossip, slander, and flattery. Gossip is speaking negatively about somebody else when they are not present with the intent of tearing them down, marring their reputation. It is not constructive. All right? So, a couple disclaimers. It's not just speaking about someone when they're not there, because you can praise someone without them being present, and that would not be gossip. So it's not just gossip is speaking about someone when they are not present. No, it's speaking negatively. It's speaking negatively about someone when they're not present and with the intent of tearing them down. For instance, my wife and I often speak about Olive, Ruth, and Eleanor when they are not present. And there are times where, because my wife and I are sinners, we engage in gossip. And yes, believe it or not, according to God's standards, you can gossip about a 2-year-old. And you are sinning against your 2-year-old. Because your 2-year-old was made in the image of God, and they have a certain innate dignity, and the parents should honor them. You guys probably have seen this. You know where you see gossip about 2-year-olds? You see it on Instagram. With the toxic mommy culture, where moms make fun of their little kids online for all their friends. Those kids are going to grow up one day. What are they going to think about their mom? They're going to have a really hard time obeying the 5th commandment, to honor their father and mother, when their mother has been publicly shaming them from the time that they couldn't even talk. And that's common in our culture. That is gossip. You can gossip about your spouse. You can gossip about your child. Right? But the question is, what are you saying? It's not just talking about someone when they're not present. It's, are you speaking negatively about them with the intent to tear them down? Because sometimes my wife and I will talk about certain negative aspects of our children, namely their disobedience, their shortcomings, the areas where they need to improve, but the intent and the nature of the conversation is constructive. It is love for our children. How can we help them? How can we seek their development, seek their growth? That's not gossip. So gossip is not just speaking about someone when they're not present, but speaking negatively about someone when they're not present with the intent of tearing them down. Slander, however, the distinction between gossip and slander can be spoken when someone is not present or when they are. You can slander someone to their face. What makes slander is that it is saying something negative. Again, it's not something positive. It's not praise. It is something that is negative with the intent of tearing them down. But the person can be absent or present. But what makes it slander is that it is blatantly false. It's not true. You are speaking falsehoods about someone, negative falsehoods with the intent of ruining and marring their reputation, or simply just hurting them as you slander them to their face. So gossip is always when someone is not present. Slander, the person could be absent or present. And gossip, another distinction. So the one distinction is slander could be the person is present or absent. Gossip, they're always absent. But the other distinction is that slander is always false, whereas gossip is actually true. When you gossip about someone, what makes it gossip, distinct from being slander, is that you are saying true things about the individual. You are choosing to only highlight those true things that are negative things about the individual, but they are in fact true statements. So gossip is saying something true about a person when they're absent, but all those things that you are saying, the statements you're making that you're choosing to highlight, are negative things with the intent of tearing them down. Slander, the person can be absent or present, but the things you are saying are always negative with the intent of tearing them down, harming the person, and the things you're saying are categorically false. That's slander. The last term, gossip, slander, and flattery. And my point is this: when it comes to obeying the fifth commandment to honor our father and mother, we cannot do this deceitfully. Right? Jumbo shrimp. That's an oxymoron. Right? That's an oxymoron. Intelligent liberal, right? Oxymoron. Right? So those kinds of things. Well, so too, deceitful obedience. Oxymoron. Lying honor. Oxymoron. You cannot deceitfully honor your father. And flattery, like slander, is always false. It is a deceitful statement. But it is distinct from slander in the sense that slander is saying negative things that are false. Flattery is actually saying positive things that are false. And like slander, the person can be present. You can flatter someone to their face, or the person can be absent. You can flatter someone while speaking to someone else about them. Slander is person is absent or present, saying negative things that are false. Flattery, absent or present, positive things that are false.
Wait. Real quick, before you go, do me a favor. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell so you'll be notified with all our new content as it comes out on a daily basis. And if you're willing to support this ministry, you can do so by going to rightresponseministries.com/donate. Thanks so much. God bless.